God of War Ragnarok is very expensive, so instead of paying $70, I'm going to make it with the Unity game engine. So to have an idea of how the gameplay works, I need to play the original God of War of 2018. The issue is that I don't have the original game. Yet. Without research, I can actually proceed to development phase of this project. And I found this Fortnite 3D model of Kratos, and thanks to that I don't need to create Kratos from scratch, and I just need to put it inside Mixamo, do the auto rig, and voila! Quality animations. And as well, I found the Leviathan 3D model, the main weapon of Kratos in the last game. First, I took the third-person camera and movement system from Unity's starter asset from the asset store, and overall put Kratos inside it. The aspect that took me longer was to try to fix this little bug that happened each time I added the animations to Kratos. And once fixing the small issue, I could start doing some tweaks to the third-person character system so it kinda feels like the one from the original game of God of War 2018. And this is a summary how it felt to make the animation controller for this character. And of course, the central part of God of War of 2018 is the throwing system of the Leviathan weapon and how it goes back to Kratos. And I just used as a point of reference the video of Mix and Jam on how to do the Leviathan throwing animation. Now with Kratos done, I think we need an enemy for this game. And as you know, the trailer of God of War Ragnarok has shown that one of the main antagonists will be Thor. So I started doing some research trying to find Thor's model, and then I noticed something. Thor kinda looks like the main character of my video game, Frostbite. Oh, Frostbite. I'm glad you asked. Frostbite is a video game that I'm currently working on. It's an isometric bullet hell based on the movie The Thing. You can check some of the devlogs after this video on my main channel. So after noticing that my main character looks literally the same as Thor, I just added it to my game with the respective animations that I made for Frostbite of idle, walking, throwing, and flamethrower. Changed the color of my character to look closer to Thor's red hair and added this Mjolnir model that I found on the internet. As well, I added a floating name with a slider that later on will be Thor's life, and with that we just have Thor. And right away I started working on Thor's life system. So the life system is simple. His life is a number that is connected to the health slider that I've shown before, and every time Kratos punches him, it makes damage, and the amount of damage is depending if Kratos is making a hard punch or a soft punch. And the Leviathan throw makes damage too. But I didn't want it to make an animation for the death of Thor, so I decided to implement the infamous ragdoll physics. Now it's time to make some state machines for Thor, to make some damage to the player. And for this I used the state machines of the enemies of my video game Frostbite, and just needed to implement some respective changes to this system. So by itself Thor has in this case two types of attacks. One uses the animation of the flamethrower, and I just added to that animation a cube with emissive material, so it gives the idea that it's an electric attack. So every time Kratos is inside the collider of the thunderbolt, it shakes the camera, and depending if the player is with the shield on or off, makes damage. And the other is a small attack where Thor throws his hammer, and this rotates around Thor, expanding himself, and if Mjolnir hits you, it gives you damage. And I just needed a way to make the AI decide which attack to make next. So an overview of how Thor works will be something like this. He starts in idle, waits 2 seconds, and then goes to the designing attack state. After other seconds, he decides the next attack depending on a random number. And after the attack is done, it goes back to the deciding attack state. And I just needed to implement the nav mesh system to make Thor move and use the walking animation. This walking state makes Thor walk towards a random position that is close to Kratos, and Thor moves there after every attack state. And to give a sense of quality to this game, I just needed to create some particle systems to sell the idea of hurting Thor, a trail effect for both the Leviathan and Mjolnir, and I just created a pseudo environment using Unity's fog and some 3D assets that I found in the internet, such as this Viking rune, a snow mountain, and these trees that I just just needed to paint to give the idea of white trees with snow. Then, using the Unity's particle system, I created a falling snow particle to sell the idea of we are in a snowy environment. And just at the end, I decided to add a HUD and a reticle. This reticle shows or hides depending if Kratos is aiming or not. And inside the HUD, I created a slider that changes according to Kratos' health. And just when I thought that I was ready, I noticed something. There is no sound. So I proceed to use the snow environment and sound effects and this song from artlist.io. But wait, I still feel that we need something. So I made my own boy sound effect using Audacity and my flawless voice acting skills.
Boy! Hey, boy! What the fuck, boy?
And I just made a system that every time Kratos make a punch, he screams boy. And with that, we have God of Battle Ragnarok, the new hit game of Santa Catalina Studios, and this is the gameplay.
Boy! 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 Boy!